Hello, and welcome to the Bowie Youth Showcase event. My name is Malik Artis. Thanks for joining us. The Bowie Youth Showcase event was created 10 years ago to help develop and enhance the communication and social skills of young people, also tapping into all resources and keeping our youth informed of what's going on in and around the Bowie metropolitan area. On this segment, we will be speaking with a nonprofit organization called Men+Aiming+Higher. Their mission is a broad-based collaborative initiative to improve the lives of young people, mentoring them as they complete their education and achieve economic self-sufficiency through the development of empowerment skills and meaningful employment. Men+Aiming+Higher strives to energize and encourage positive self-esteem and life values on which to build a successful and productive life. When we come back, we will introduce you to the president of Men+Aiming+Higher and some of their members. Stay tuned.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're gonna beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a
One
dad
more
today.
time. Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
Welcome back. We would like to welcome Mr. Darryl+Barnes, president of Men+Aiming+Higher. Welcome to the show, Mr. Barnes. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We also have 5 members of the organization joining us in the studio. They are Darryl+Barnes, James+Fleming, Frederick Thornton, Patrick+Rand, and David Ritter, and Arron+Delissaint. Welcome and thanks for joining us again. My first question is for Mr. Barnes. How and who started Men+Aiming+Higher?
I started Men+Aiming+Higher about 18 months ago. It was actually myself and another friend of mine, Perry Vanderhorst. We started it on the principles of giving back, trying to help young men between the ages of 16 to 29, teaching young men how to be men, to sit up straight. As much as you can say yeah, and you can say yes, no. So that was the basic principles in which we wanted to do that. And from that, we've encountered and brought on some real good people to help us along the way.
What are some of the goals of Men+Aiming+Higher?
The goals are clear. We want to help foster the relationships between young men, between that 16 to 29 years old. And we've done that through certain vehicles. We've instituted a 10-step program in which we guide our principals on mentoring. We've also done some things in the community as far as community outreach. That's part of our mentoring as far as getting our youth out there to engage into the community.
Okay, let's ask some of the other members. Why did you join Men+Aiming+Higher?
I'll jump in, James+Fleming. I joined Men+Aiming+Higher because I saw a real need for young men and young women to be mentored and guided. I didn't see it happening, and honestly, I didn't see it happening with myself. And when Darryl+Barnes asked me to join, I saw an opportunity to jump in to give back, and I think that was what was needed.
I believe mine was a little more simple. I saw the name Men+Aiming+Higher, and I know that personally I aim to do the best I can to be the highest and best that I can be. And through talking with Mr. Barnes, I found out that the prime goal of the organization is to help other young men. So that's something that I am very much so concerned about, so I joined.
Yeah, and talking with Perry and Darryl when things first started out, we partnered with a local school, and there was a real need. It was an evening school, and we noticed that there were children there who are on their way to graduate, and we noticed that there was a real need for some of these students who were kind of raising their hand and asking for help. So I felt, compelled to actually help serve along with Darryl and Perry, just getting started out to kind of assist some of these individuals, some of these students when it came to professional development.
I guess mine, the reason why I joined is very simple as well. I was lucky enough to have good role models in my life, and the older I got, the more I realized that the influence in my life had a great impact, and I was looking for a way to give back, and it was important for me to also help people who need mentors and who need a good role model in their life. It's important for me to give back and help them, reach their goals and be the best that they can possibly be.
Yeah. And myself, kind of like Doyen, I'm not going to say that I've made it, but a lot further than where I came from. And it's through the help of others. I had people who mentored me, guided me, taught me basic values that I think helped make me the person that I am today. And I'm raised in the South, and when I moved to this area, I kind of saw a lacking of that in our youth, and it really kind of hurt my heart. And when Darryl approached and asked me to join Men+Aiming+Higher, I saw it as the prime opportunity to be a part of the solution, rather than just sitting back and complaining about what's going on with today's youth. So I jumped at it.
So as you can see, all of these men have a story to tell. We all come from different backgrounds, different walks of life, but I think it's most important that we all give back. I believe we're called at some point in our lives that we have to touch others to give back. And that's what this organization is all about. There's all sorts of things that we possibly could be doing. We all have families, we all have bills and responsibilities and various things like that. But all of us genuinely believe that in reaching some of these kids, especially between that age group of 16 to 29, it really is the foundation in which these kids are based on, in which they really need someone, a man in their lives, to foster their growth and their growth pattern.
Okay. What did you expect to get out of it?
Arron?
Well,
This is for anyone.
Oh, okay. I'll jump in. My thing is, as Darryl mentioned earlier on, the thing is, I always use something that I read in the Bible where it talks about there's greater happiness in giving than there is in receiving. Darryl always mentions that principle. So the thing is, when we're able to give back and assist some of these kids in the community, some of the local communities, whether it's our at-risk youths or even if it's our bright students who are overachievers, giving back in that way, there's always greater good. Your heart is open, you feel overjoyed to do that, and not necessarily looking for anything back. It's a civic responsibility, it's our civic duty to kind of the lessons we've learned to turn back around and mentor someone else.
I can definitely stand with that. That by giving, it has certainly given me more, the opportunity to have an effect in someone else's life. So what I expect is really an opportunity to give, to see someone else's life changed, and have the satisfaction of knowing that I've done something to help someone else. So, and I believe I have something to offer. So, just to have that opportunity.
And I think that adding to what Patrick says, is that it creates a legacy, something that we can in turn build on long term, that where we begin to see changes in families and youth. And I think that's extremely important because they're going to follow us. They're going to take over the things that we have already created, and blessedly, it will be a blessing to them. And we're planting that seed now, and that's what we want to do.
All right. And as a community, every time we hear of any disturbing demographic of today's youth, there's two categories of people who hear it. There are those who hear it and it just goes by, and then there are those who hear it and then make an affirmative decision to do something about it. I want to be on that part, be the other category where you go out and you help and make sure that disturbing demographic, you attack that head on. And so that's what I get out of it.
And to add to what everyone else has said, I definitely agree with everything that's been said so far, but for me, there's also a little bit of a selfish motive as well, because I have 2 daughters, who are very young, and I don't want them to have to grow up in the environment the way it is right now. And if there's something I can do right now to help change the environment for the good, I'd rather do that now while they're small, so that when they're up at a certain age, they don't have the same concerns, and maybe the community has changed. It might be slightly, but hopefully it has changed in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and hopefully we had something to do with that.
Because when you talk about what did we get out of it, and I think it's a couple of different things. I always tell the story, when you see a bunch of kids on the street corner and they have their pants hanging down, how many of us as adults challenge them and say, you know what, pull your pants up, watch your language, stop using the profanity, stop doing those things. So if you're able to reach one child and they make a difference in pulling their pants up and doing those things, then we all got something out of it. I think for us, a large part of our teaching or our principle is how to be a man. As much as you can say, yeah, you can say yes, no. As much as you can walk the other way and do something different, you can do the right thing. So for us, it's all about giving and teaching those principles. All of us here are either business owners or we're in management, so we can make a difference. And I think part of the difference making is for us as men to get together like we're doing now and having those roundtable discussions about how can we make a difference? How can we change? How can we influence someone to do the right thing? How can we show this child or this young boy that, hey, by doing the right thing will make a difference? At some point in your life, you have to stand up and be accountable, and that's what Men+Aiming+Higher is all about.
Okay.
And I know too that just as James mentioned about the legacy, Darryl always talks about the legacy. What are we leaving behind for our children? And I know myself, and along with James, we have a background in finance, and we always talk about estate planning. And what are you doing with yourself? But I always say that mentoring should be an integral part of your estate planning, because what kind of legacy are you leaving behind? What are you doing with what you have now, what resources you have now and talents you're giving back to the community? So that should be an integral part of your estate planning, mentoring.
Okay. Mr. Barnes, what other organizations are working with Men+Aiming+Higher?
Men+Aiming+Higher has had the privilege to work with the Maryland Park and Planning. They're one of our strong supporters in some of the things that we're doing in the future. We're partnered with the Laurel Boys and Girls Club. We've also partnered with the Boy Scouts of America. And we've partnered with different high schools and charter schools here in Prince George's County. So for us, as we continue to grow as an organization, the partnerships will definitely come. But I do believe the partnerships that we have are strong, they're good, and they're helping us make a difference in the community. And some of those things that we're doing right now is, for Thanksgiving, for instance, we partner with Social Services Section 8 here in Prince George's County, where the goal of Men+Aiming+Higher is to feed 50 families. So when you talk about what good are we doing, or what do we take away from this, is those young men that we're mentoring and fostering those relationships with will actually go out in the communities with us and help us deliver those foods or those baskets to folks that are in need of that. December the 4th, we're doing a huge health fair. And part of that health fair is through some of our partnerships. So they'll be a part of that. We're also doing a huge toy drive in December, which we're giving toys to needy kids in either preschool or nursery school. So as an organization, we're really trying to do a lot of our community outreach and giving back to the community at large.
How important do you think it is for young people to have a mentor?
I think it's extremely important because it all stems from the home. The one thing that I can always say that I've took away from Hillary Clinton is that it takes a village to raise a family. And I think it starts at home, and then it also starts with that parent, that teacher. And when that teacher doesn't have time, then it's organizations like us that come in to help build those relationships. I was in a meeting today earlier, Arron and I, and part of the conversation was how these kids need guidance. I truly believe that a lot of these kids are just misguided. A lot of these kids want a venue to vent or someone to listen to them, and that's what we offer here.
Okay. If you don't mind, I'd like to chime in too. That's what Darryl said. There's a saying that the youth is wasted on the young, And I'm pretty sure most of us who are a little older can think back to the things that we know now. If we knew back when we were in our 20s, we'd be so much farther ahead. So we're trying to reach out to those kids and give them that information now.
Okay, we will be right back after these messages.
I'm starving. What's for breakfast?
Guten Tag!
Johannes, Ross!
I bring you arts-enriched Raisinblams, fortified with increased test scores and creative problem-solving skills.
It's good!
And good for you.
Bobby? Susie?
Don't worry, that's just the power of the arts!
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, we are having a roundtable discussion about the future of young people with some men of Men+Aiming+Higher. I have another question for you, Mr. Barnes. Is it true that you're running for public office?
Yes, tell us about that.
It's a desire. I truly believe that in this day and time, we need public officials that are true to their word and folks that are really looking to make a difference. For me, it's real clear. I truly believe and I have a strong passion for our youth and the things that they're doing. And with other good men at this table like this, it makes my decision to think about running for public office a lot easier.
Okay. Mr. Barnes, what has been your biggest problem as a non-profit business owner?
I think one of our biggest challenges is we're no different than any other nonprofit or foundation where we need to raise money. We need to raise money for some of the programs that we want to institute. We need to raise money for some of the programs and outreach stuff that we want to do. And we definitely ask for donations. I believe folks can go to our website at www.menaiming+higher.org. They can donate directly online. That would be a huge support for us because we have all these men and other mentors that that help us, and we need funds for that. Another challenge that we have is the simple fact that all of our mentors have to go through a background check. We have make sure that the guys that come on to be a part of Men+Aiming+Higher are not criminals. They're not pedophiles. They don't have any social issues that will hamper or get involved with the children that we try to mentor. So for us as an organization, we take what we do very seriously. In order to do some of the things that we want to do, the flyers, the brochures, all of those things, the health fair, the food drive, it all takes funds. And just like everyone else, we need donations.
What I would say is that, just to kind of piggyback with Darryl, is that not just money, but any other resources that you can provide, to help an organization like ours. So, whether it's with the mentoring or looking for additional mentors, whether it's school materials, book materials, any other resources that would help us. Resources may even be other organizations that may have a complementary mission that could help us. So those would be the types of things that we would need as well as an organization.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Doyle.
And more importantly, we need more successful men that live in Prince George's County to come out and volunteer their time. If they can't volunteer or give back by, give donations or what have you.
Yeah, and I would just to piggyback off what James said, resources also, which includes more mentors, but those things go they go a long way in helping us do what we need to do. We have Maryland Park and Planning has donated gymnasiums, things of that nature, because we want to get kids more involved. One of the ways we mentor is through athletics. We play basketball, different things of that nature. Sometimes we hold tournaments. things of that nature. Like you mentioned, books, but also if there's an organization that has any facilities that they could donate the time that we could use for any event that we might want to have, that would also go a long ways in helping us do what we need to do, or what we desire to do.
And I would say that it's key because a lot of us are already working 9 to 5. We are not participating in Men+Aiming+Higher to receive any salary, any monies from it. So we're doing this on volunteer effort. So we're looking for resources to help us continue to drive the organization. And I would say that, as Dwayne mentioned, we're looking for individuals who are willing to step up and make a commitment, because these programs don't run themselves. And they take good, strong volunteers who are willing to assist. And no one has to be a doctor. No one has to have some type of advanced degree to talk to children. A lot of times, when it comes to, we were talking about this earlier, Darryl and the rest of us, is that listening. Even if mentoring sometimes may just be listening to some of these youths, but we need individuals to step up, and that's going to be key for continuing the success of the organization.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, and a lot of that information, once again, can be found on our website. For volunteering, the different committees that we have, a whole host of issues or information is on our website. And once again, you can go to www.menaiming.higher.org.
Right, and from my perspective, with my company, I personally have made a commitment to provide services, products wherever I can, ideas that I may have. So other people, that's a good way to give of your time, your talent, as well as your treasure towards Men+Aiming+Higher. So one of the things that several people have said here is we have people who simply notice, see it, hear about it, talk about it, but they don't do anything about it. And then you have those who do something about it. So everybody has something they can offer, something they can provide, and I encourage others to provide, to look into your own lives. What do you have? How can you help? And to give.
Okay. May I see a show of hands? How many of the members have children? I want each of you to answer, what do you think about our education system?
Well, I'll start there. I think in Prince George's County as a whole, we have 828,000 residents in Prince George's County. Our education system is dead last. We're 24th out of 24th as far as education. I think our education system needs to be challenged. I think our kids don't have the fair shake or break that they need. There's no vocational schools. There's no after-school programs. Transportation is just not there. So the education system, we need to infuse something to get these kids motivated to do some other things, other outside activities, and we don't have that. I think all of us that does have children, we want our kids to always have the best of everything, the best education. Part of the education system is nutrition. Our community is known for obesity, high blood pressure, hypertension, and all of those things start within the education system. And I think we as adults or leaders of our communities, and part of Men+Aiming+Higher is part of what we do as far as trying to give back.
I also think when you think about education system, one of the issues that I'm noticing is that the home environment is not a part of the educational system, because really education starts at home. When it comes to raising and trying to provide leadership for our own children before they ever get into the school system. So the home environment needs to be a big factor into that. The second thing I would say to that is the fact that sometimes we don't recognize good news. I was volunteering over at Crossland last week, and I found out that they were the only school in Prince George's County that kind of made the AYP or their standardized testing goals or exceeded it. But you don't hear that anywhere. When participating with Vision Prince George's County, they kept asking, what can we do to change the community? And one of the simple things that I think is possible to do is when there is good news, to mention it. Let's hear about Crossland, what they're doing, and what their testing coordinator, Naomi Stewart, is doing to kind of get individuals involved and to kind of get them past the AYP. And if that's working there, well, if we're hearing about it, then maybe other schools can also pick up on what's going on that's working for them there at Carlson High School.
And I would chime in with what he's saying, that education starts at home. We put up so much weight on what the teachers are doing and what the county's doing and things of that sort, but it really starts at home. I think it's the most important thing. So that's what I have to say.
What I would add to what everyone has already said is to go back and focus also on the teachers, in the sense of, are the teachers being paid a fair salary? Also, let's reduce some of these class sizes, so either provide a teacher's aide in every class so that every child can have the attention that they need in class. I think that's one of the biggest things that's missing.
Yeah, and to add to that, when the whole voucher program came out, I was a little perplexed with that one, because why are we, and I know it's a dead horse, it's already done, but one of my issues is, why are we giving out vouchers to kids to go to private schools and not taking that money and putting it back into the public schools to help make the public schools better for everybody, not just for the handful of kids that take advantage of the voucher systems to go to the private schools. I think we should take that and make the public schools better. I'm a product of public schools, although not from in this area, but public schools nonetheless. And I think if we put the money and the resources in the public schools, we'll turn out educated kids. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm. And I would agree with Fred, because I'm a product of the public schools here in Prince George's County, and they also allowed me to get into my career when it comes to finance and banking and so forth. I got all of those resources through the Prince George's County school system. All the tools are there. It's finding a way to getting the resources when it comes to monies that need to be funded into the programs, and getting everybody to kind of get together and building a synergy to kind of use the tools that are already out there.
We would like to thank all the men of Men+Aiming+Higher. Good luck, and we trust you will keep us informed. One of our biggest challenges in today's society today seems to be keeping our young people focused. Fortunately, we have a tremendous group of committed individuals who are stepping up to the plate and doing their part, like the men of Men+Aiming+Higher. I am Malik Artis, and this has been the Bowie Youth Showcase. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.